Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. My name is Sandra Nicholson, and welcome to Into the Room podcast. Our special guest today is this brilliant, very creative artist who's actually been on here before. It was back in March, but he had so much to talk. He shared so much about his background and his experience as an animator, VFX effect artist. Chances are, if you've seen anything by Marvel, such as the Avengers or Iron Man, he's worked on 18 films, G.I. Joe, Guardians of the Galaxy, Godzilla, you name it, he's done a lot. And it seems like in such a short time.
Yeah.
But I think he's a veteran at what he does. And evidently, he's very good at what he does because he wouldn't have been hired by these film companies. And so, but at that last time when we had him on here was such a great response. And the very last thing that we had discussed was about Kwame, since he had so many skills, not only just as a filmmaker, but he's also a musician and he's also a sculptor. And you can see some of his work as far as his visual effects and animation at the planetarium in Chicago. It's Afro futurism. You can see it there. Is it Nia? Is it Nia?
Naya, the Naya and the Multi,
Yes. Okay.
written by
There you have.
written by
Yes.
this author Yatasha Womack.
Yes. And so that is currently at the planetarium. But I was excited and wanted Kwame to come back because at that particular time, he was working on a beautiful project called Creation. And since then, he's created something else, even so dynamic, to where it just recently won an award at the Essence Film Festival. So I present to you Mr. Kwame Brako, better known as Dark Mythst. So how you doing, Kwame?
Great. It's interesting from the first time we had this interview to right now how things have transpired and what's
Right. I mean, because the last thing that I remember when we were discussing your projects, one of the things I remember asking you, I'm like, Kwame, are you going to make your own animated film? And that was 4 months ago. Since then, you have won the award at the Essence Film Festival.
right.
And the name of the animation feature, is it a feature or is it short?
It's a
It's a short, right?
short. Yeah,
It's a
right
short.
now it's a short.
Right now it's a short. It's called Mawu. Am I pronouncing it right?
That's
Mawu?
the Lost Comb of Mawu. Yeah.
Yeah, the Lost Cone of Mawu. Um, it is for you all. I don't know if you all have a chance to follow Kwame on his Instagram page, but it is ecstatic. It is so beautiful. So, I mean, it's something you can see yourself. We, as African Americans and of the African diaspora, you can literally see yourself in this beautiful work of art. And then he does the voiceover for it. And I can't wait till you finish it. Just what I've seen, I was just like in awe. So, what I want you to do is to share with us what was the process of you even creating this piece. And then, from you creating it and then having the nerve enough to show it to somebody, it ended up being in the Essence Film Festival and winning. So, share that with us.
Wow. Yeah. Where it went kind of blew my mind because initially I was doing this just for fun. When we had our last conversation, I made some artwork called Creation, which is, cosmic work. And basically from there, I just decided to show it. Actually, I didn't decide to. The animation was seen by another animation studio, and they wanted to sponsor me to come to this event called Afro Animation in Burbank. So I had that animation playing. It was only about 1 minute long at that time, and it was on the playing in the hotel around. And it just so happened that there were these two young ladies that were speaking, and I was looking for some coffee that time. And I passed them, and I swear something just tells me, you need to know who they are. So I quickly turned around, I went to them, and I just said, hey, I'm here to introduce myself. Something is telling me I should know who you all are. They told me who they were, but I didn't know who they were yet.
Yeah.
Conversation is going, and I'm just, talking to them about some of the stuff I do, and I showed a little piece of the animation that's playing in the hotel. And the lady looks at me and she says, this needs to be in the Essence Film Festival. And I'm looking at her like, what? And she tells me who she is. I'm Lamonia Brown. I am the founder of Essence Film Festival. And everything just changed right there. And so she said, if you can turn this into about a 5-minute piece or longer, submissions are closed, but what I've seen right here, she said, she had never seen anything like it. And so she wanted to present that at Essence Film Festival. So I did spend those next 4 months creating the animation. The process itself was incredibly difficult. I wanted to make it longer, but I was a one-person team, so I'm doing, like you said, the voiceover, the music, the animation, the 3D modeling, every single aspect of it. And I actually had times that I was going to give up on it because I thought there's no way this thing is going to have any sort of impact, because I was a one-person team. And then I knew other animations that were coming in, they had teams or they had a budget. I'm going in with nothing. So I ended up finishing it actually I was 1 week late delivering it. They were kind enough to give me a little time. We finally had it showing at Essence. And in fact, before the award ceremony, I went and sat in the far, far back corner. Because to me, I thought, oh, all these other animations that, presented were great. They were 30 minutes long or whatnot. Mine was like 5 minutes. So I was pretty much telling, on the side, I would say, yeah, this is a really cool award thing. I don't expect anything because mine is like a trailer. And then they end up mentioning the best animation award goes to me, and I thought, what? This is unbelievable. And it just changed everything.
That's a miracle blessing because this is the second time you shared with me a story, and it's like just like you coming in on the tail end. I mean, from how you even got started and all this, when you were down in Florida, and then they brought you out here, California, and this is kind of like similar. Just in it was closed. It was closed, and just the snippet of what she had seen, she thought it was good enough to even like, I'm a movie. I want you to submit still. I want to show this to the Essence community. And you didn't know. I mean, in fact, you was even a little bit over not only were you it was already closed, but you was even over the deadline. And even still, they were like, no, we'll be patient. And there was other people. You said they had teams, they had budgets. And here you come, a one-man show, basically. And with all your talent, you use every gift that you know that you have to produce this 5-minute and maybe a few seconds piece, and then took the award. That is a testimony on so many levels. One is what's for you is for you. That was a divine appointment. It's a good thing you had the confidence and the boldness to just go introduce yourself. You said hi. It's amazing what can happen in a person's life when they're open, when they're friendly. You and I know that just from when we met. And even in that, like you said, you didn't know who they were, but you was like, I feel like I need to know. You took that upon yourself, and they was receptive. And in response, you meet the person who's over the film festival. That was the divine order. That's what you call, I say, the Most High, leading you, guiding you. And in doing that, you believed in what you could do enough to present something to an organization, a well-established organization by now. They've been around for years now. And then took the winning award. It was Best Audience Award, right?
Yeah, Best Audience Award for film and Best Animated Film.
For Best animated film.
Yeah.
And what was the audience reception when they saw it? I mean, could you tell how people
They
were?
wanted more because it ended up short. So you could tell that people were waiting to see, is this, about to really start, because it was action, music, everything was going in. And so I remember when it stopped, there was this kind of a silence and you could kind of hear, is that it?
Because people wanted more. They
Yeah.
they want, you know what? It was a teaser. It was, and they wanted more.
Yeah, it was something that, the feedback back and response I got was, this was something that, kind of like you just said, people had not seen at the capacity of what it was. And it was, very melanated. It was action. It was, music. So, and then the quality, obviously, I
Yeah.
will myself credit, the quality was great.
Yes, it was.
Even to the point that one of the animators, the team that was there with their own film, have actually asked if I'd be interested in producing and directing their next animations. So it's open a lot. It's open a lot of windows. So it's very interesting that the comrades that I would be, I guess up against, now would want me to join or do their animations. And it's funny because I have to tell them I'm literally only a one person team. So, I think that's what kind of wowed them. However, I am working on building a small studio myself now where I can actually get some people to work with and help me through these because things are moving fast now.
Awesome. So, what in your experience in doing visual effects and animation, what do you feel makes a really great animator? I mean, how can you tell when? I mean, what makes an animator stand out from like a lot of other animators? I guess you can say, you know.
For me, I think is the attention to detail, and there's all kinds of play in it. Like you end up being, in my case, I'm being a cameraman too. One of the hard things I feel in animation is trying to have a good video sequence. Some animations that I'll see, the jump cuts are a little bit rough or whatnot. So I think in terms of the animation, being able to focus on the quality of the output. And I'll be honest with you, there are parts of this film that I'm not as happy with because I know how much better I could have done. But
Mm.
in terms of time and in terms of, not having the help or funding, that some things came. But I don't think the general audience will be able to pinpoint what I felt didn't look right in there. But I know.
Right. And so, because I mean, I'm not an animator, but when I look at it, the colors, even the movements, I mean, there's that one scene where the girl with the red jumpsuit and she slides up under I don't know if it's a bridge. I mean, I look at all that and how and I'm sitting there, my mouth is just like, wow. It's like something that I mean, I'm gonna just only use this because we're familiar with it. It's like when, how Black Panther, when they was moving all kinds of ways and so to see yours in the animation style and they're superheroes, basically, from what I'm getting, they're superheroes. And the story and the music, it's very dramatic and very theatrical. What made you come up with that style of music?
Um, you know, that's a very good question. I watching the video over and over, composing it, and I wanted something cinematic, but I also wanted to give urban feel. You kind of when you hear the strings, there's a urban type of feel to it, but it's orchestral as well. And it's just kind of something I'm trying to develop with the music, especially if we talk about futurism. When I'm thinking, okay, what could happen? What can I develop? What can I
Right.
mix? And so, part of the importance of this was I'm trying to make the music as well, um, uh, engage. I'm trying to make the music, create more of the color of the film. So the energy of it, or the sadness, or whatnot. And I just really have fun scoring films.
Right. enjoying it because it's very theatrical. I mean, when you're watching it, like, because you have two separate clips. Like the first one, when they're, I guess I'm gonna just say, they look like they're getting ready to go in battle, and when you're listening to that music, and it really pulls you in. And then the other clip is where you're telling the story of how Maui the Cone came about, and your voiceover, and it's like, ooh, you hear the story about how her lover, and like, really. And it's just once it makes you want to see the rest of it. You can't, you got to finish the story because it draws you in. Do you think that? Well, let me ask you this, because you're planning on making this into a series or maybe a feature or both.
A series.
A series. So
Series,
that's
but
something that.
I do, it's a series, but I also get feedback that people want to see a full feature. So I feel like if I play this really well, it could be something that series that builds into a.
Yeah, because I can definitely see a series,
Mhm.
but I also could see like it being a major movie. And I believe if you came out with a full, feature film, I personally, it would get a lot, because we don't have anything like that.
Mm.
We don't have no animation, just strictly people of color. Well, no, let me just be real. African. We don't have nothing on big screen. Only thing that we had, and it wasn't even the animation. We don't have anything that I can think of.
Mm.
Right? I don't know any. We don't have any. We don't have any animated feature films that's strictly focusing on people that look like you and I. And so, not saying that there couldn't be some other characters in there. I mean, but I'm just saying we don't have that. You got Despicables. You have all these other animated films that have come out, but just one certain. Now, let me go back. Let me preface what I just said, because I just thought about the movie Soul came out.
Mhm.
The movie Soul came out, but then the majority of the movie, he was changed into some kind of, he wasn't human. So, that ain't really counting,
Yeah.
right? So, I'm talking about us as humans, not as animals, but as humans
Mhm.
in the animated form, and the beautiful story told in animation. Um, if there were some other animators you would like to work with on your team, known or unknown, who would
Well,
they be?
as a matter of fact, and I hope he's still in the room. There's a street street academic here. If you are still in here, say give a quick shout out. This is Kofi. This is he's a Ghanaian artist as well, artist and educator, and um he's an amazing artist that I've been trying to pull on, and he actually has done a little piece that will now show up in this near future. He designs products as well. There he is. He's in there, and
Yeah, I
so
see. Hi.
yeah, created these shoes that I saw, and we're from the same place. We created, and he created these shoes that had this comb, and I reached out and was like, I gotta have you on. What's up? Let's do something. So he's gone and created a shoe that's gonna fit onto one of the characters that does the rock climb, and his name is actually.
Oh, oh,
And
oh,
so he
wow.
went and created
Nice.
this shoe, and then I asked him, well, go ahead and you can also put a little story behind this shoe. So he is an artist that I am definitely wanting to work with. There's another guy in the space is called Jay Henny Art. He's also Ghanaian as well. He does a lot of cybertronics, and I'm trying to think the amputees. They have this when they have like the mechanical arms and legs. He does a lot of that. So I'm slowly pulling in groups from our community to do this project. And like you were saying before, seeing something that shows a lot of us, I think, is important. The reason these characters are different colors, you see blue, you're going to see maroon, you're going to see purple, is because I wanted to make this, number one, is really not about color, but I wanted to make it a world of melanated people.
Yeah.
And the reason blue and purple and maroon come in is when I was here in the US, I remember people would come with their jokes, damn man, you're so black, you're blue. So I thought, you know what? Let's go ahead and start making them in all these different shades.
Brilliant.
Yeah, you'll notice that I don't have one particular side that might be blue and maroon people and one side that might be dark and light skin.
Right.
No, they're all, it's a planet where it's just everyone is melanated. You could be a dad that is maroon tone with a wife that's blue tone and your child is going to come out orange, whatever. That's just what I'm making, you
Right.
know.
Right. Which is, I mean, basically within your typical. I know over here, and I'm presuming just as weird as anywhere else. We're not one-dimensional people, and we come in the variety. We're a bouquet, literally, of flowers of skin tones. You have some that are light, you have some that are dark, and you have some that are in between. So, and it is what it is. I think that's the beauty of us as a people, because we're not just, we don't all look alike. And I think that's great. I think it's great that there's a variety. And that just only shows to me how the Most High allow us to come forth into this earth to represent the beauty of Him, basically. And that is awesome. So now you said you did the voiceover. Now, any future actors or actresses you would like to work with to do voiceovers for your characters?
Hint, hint. Yes, absolutely, absolutely. As this, as this is going forward, it's just come to me that, I have to get some voices. I can't do them all. I only did these voices because I had the time.
Right.
Even in the beginning, I lowered my voice. I have range. I can go low. But yes, the answer, I want to start getting some, voice acting in, because there's going to be quite a bit of characters in here. So I have a range, and that's what's gonna
Right.
start selling it, is now adding, instead of just narration, now actually having the dialogue. So I'm currently working on that. I gave a call to Yatasha Womack, she's a author, best-selling author of the book Afrofuturism. She also did the book with Black Panther, Marvel. And I gave her a call and I told her about this and just asked her, look, can you come on as a writer? Would you want to do this project? And to my surprise, she said yeah. And I just thought, yo, this is it. If she's on now, get her Afrofuturism. I'm African, so I'm kind of telling the tale from African futurism. She's coming from Afrofuturism. So now I'm kind of calling it Afrofuturism. We're bridging both of these gaps where I can tell part of the story from the African side, and she's telling the story from the African American side. So we're bridging something. We're doing what has not been done out there.
Bravo. Those who know me, you know me, but I'm all about the African American coming together with our brothers and sisters from the continent, on the continent. I am like, that is part of my mission, to be honest with you, in life.
But
Is
right now, I can see who's coming in. These are my Ghanaians coming in here.
huh?
Y'all, Cliff.
Hi.
They're all phenomenal artists. Each one are phenomenal artists.
I'm sorry. Say what now?
I said each one of them are phenomenal artists.
Oh,
All these guys that I see
that's wonderful.
are artists as well.
Oh, that's wonderful. I love it. I love to hear it. I did the DNA test. I got some Ghanaian in me as well.
Yeah, there we go.
34% to be exact.
So
So
you just asked about voiceover. I see a gentleman that came in here, Sunny, as well. I met him during a filming just a month ago, and he just one of the most warmest person. And I spoke to him about the film and said, "Dude, we got to get your voice." So I have a character for him as well too. So yeah, this filming is bridging some gaps and is bringing some people along, and I'm just happy that I'm having people that are just, they're willing to just come and help and support. I want to make I want to capitalize off it. I want to be able to pay people the way it should, but I'm really happy that I have people that are coming in and supporting me in this way, that are believing in this. And I think that's what's going to make this push further.
I agree, Kwame. I think I think there's two reasons why people are, well, three ultimately, like I said, the Most High, and then you, you have such a beautiful spirit. It's, those that encounter you, you have a beautiful spirit, and that's all I, in a nutshell. I believe that's part one. Two is you're gifted, you're talented, and that shows. And he's not just an animator, you guys. For those who may not know, but Kwame is a sculptor. He carves wood. He carves. He makes mold 3D printing. He has these beautiful Africoms, right? That's what they call
Yeah.
Africoms. He has a website on Etsy. He has these beautiful combs. I've never seen nothing. Now, in America, when you had an afro in the 70s or late 60s, or, everybody's talking about the pig. We call them pigs here, the pig. And it was just normally the pig with the fist. Until that's all I ever seen, that's all I ever knew. They may have came in like purple or black or, some color like that. But then, or maybe would, you may have seen, but then I met Kwame Brako and I saw all of these, my mouth fell open. I had never seen Africombs or pigs as we call them here, nothing like that ever, too. Well, they were literally art pieces. And I have it right now on my wall. And why am I had never seen nothing like that. That was brilliant. So then to turn that gifting from that and then make into a film, because when you're an artist, I firmly believe when you're artistic, you may start off in one thing, but most artists I've ever met, they're not just a singer. They're usually a musician, or writer, or it comes in, or they know how to draw or know how to paint. That seems to be what I've come across in my life, dealing with other fellow artists, because I'm one myself. So I get it totally, and I believe you should use all your gifts wherever that season the door opens for you to do. So now, Kwame, I noticed that down at Essence Festival that you met Janet Huber, who
Oh,
played
who played Viv?
uh, who played Vivian. Did she get a chance to see your film?
Did he actually won the part of the animation film? Wow, there was two awards for animation. One was the award which and I think it was the
Okay, wait, I can't hear you. Say it again.
she has an
You kind of going.
she has an animation coming out herself, and I saw hers. So she was actually the other animated winner. So for me, sitting up like, wait a minute, I got an award with Aunt Viv from Fresh Prince. This is something. So yeah, the reception was great. I just couldn't believe. In fact, when I saw her, I couldn't believe. Like, wait, you're here? I got a screen, right? Like, you're here, and she was just so sweet. And she told me she had her screening too, and she told me, just take your butt and sit right there. I was like, all right, I'm here, I'm there. That's
Oh
what I could.
wow!
Yeah.
And you also met Tisha Campbell, right? Because I
Yeah. All of this, I had no idea these people were gonna be here. Like I said, I've never been to an Essence Fest. This was the
right,
first time at the festival. So
right,
going up to now to my screen, seeing all these people, that's when it
right,
hit me, and I thought, oh, this is real. This is not
right.
just some film festival. This is it. And we got DB producers, directors, actors. They were all based. So it gave them a chance to see a person that no one ever heard of. By the end of this, quite a people knew who I
Right.
was then. By the
Right. And it's good that so being at the Essence Fence, it exposed you to even more people that are, have made a mark
Mm.
in the industry, obviously. And now that they see what you can do, I'm sure more people would be reaching out to you, wanting to work with you, or even bring you on their projects. But something like what you've done with this, typically, what would a budget like that for something like that would be?
for what I did, and then in 5 minutes, something like that could easily go for 10K, maybe even more, 10, 20,000. It's hard because there's elements of it. So, for example, because I'm wearing all these hats. There's going to be a different rate for somebody that does music scoring, a different rate for somebody that does camera.
Right.
So it's almost a little bit complicated for me to answer because I'm thinking of all of those different rates. But I could see, a good 5 minute production. Yeah, usually I would say that can be like around almost a total of $500 to $1,000 per minute. That's what can go
Yeah.
be. That's what can go
Yeah.
behind. Hmm.
Yeah. I can see that. Absolutely. Absolutely. And I'm just gonna say if anyone has a question for Kwame, feel free to um, submit it in the chat, or if you want to talk to him directly, I can bring you in. Let me know.
Nice.
Let me know why you have them.
Worth.
Uh, is to you know being in the anime, because you said you went to a conference and you saw more of us. It was because it was a Afro animation conference, so there's evidently more of us are getting into that field,
Yeah.
which is great. Just like we're into the more producers, directors, writers, because I'm an advocate for us, creating our own industry
Mhm.
to where we don't necessarily have to jump through unnecessary hoops. What I loved about what happened with the woman that you met that's over Essence Festival is I've heard stories of other people who were very talented and came in contact with people who could easily just bring them in. And they didn't, for whatever reason, but it was kind of like, oh, well, when you get into town, look me up, But if somebody's young or struggling and you see the potential, why not help them?
Mhm.
You get what I'm saying? And what I loved about in this situation with you and that lady is that she didn't give you the runaround. She saw it. In fact, she just was like, you know what? No, we need you, and just finish what you're doing and come in. And I love that she didn't play no games with you. A lot of times, some of our people, when they feel like they've arrived or when they've gotten in certain spaces, they want to play these games. And she didn't do that. And I thank Most High for her. That was a divine appointment. And so I'm glad you just stepped up. You took the opportunity. You engaged. Because sometimes you get some people that wait around. Well, maybe, no, you said, let me go introduce myself, not knowing who they were. But because you was confident, you got to have some confidence about yourself to go into a lot of different spaces. Doesn't mean that you think you're better than anybody, but you got to know who you are and what you bring to the table and to just be like, hey, how are you? And you did that. And look what, after all of that, look what's now happened. So I know sometime, hopefully, when do you think you may be done? If you do a feature, well, maybe by the end of the year, maybe we think it'll be out there on a larger platform, or what do you think?
I would love it to be. My next goal is to have a 20 minute to 30 minute pilot created. I'd like to get that done by February because that's the next for the film festival. I think so. I'd like to try and get a done so that I watch these and see if I can get it on some networks. So I'm putting in as much high quality as I can in this. I'm looking at the streaming specs.
I was going to say is that I went to the screening, and there was a fellow young man from Ghana who's a filmmaker, and he had this very good film called Mother-in-Law, starring Vivica Fox was in it, and
Hmm.
it was basically it was a story about the son fall in love with an American girl who was African American, and his parents manipulating because they had somebody else in mind, and and the young woman's parents were like, I don't know about this. So you had these two juxtaposed families, and then in the end they both come together, and that was the whole gist of the film, is that the diaspora coming together and working together, because at the end of the day, we come with skills and talents. You all have many skills and talents. And I just think how much more dynamic it would be once that takes place. With that being said, I appreciate your time. I am so looking forward to when later on, once you've completed, we can come back and discuss it. And the premiere, talk all about, because it's going to go even bigger. It's going to be going bigger. I know. But I want to thank everyone for tuning in today, this afternoon, to Into the Room and listening in on the conversation with I'm going to just say famous visual effects animated filmmaker, dynamic, intelligent, brilliant, suave Rico.
I'll take it all.
Take it all. Mr. Kwame Brako, better known as a.k.a. Dark Mythst. And we thank you. And until next time, you all have a blessed and wonderful afternoon. Thank you, Kwame. And we'll talk to you soon. Blessings.
See you all. Bye.
Okay. Bye-bye.